I was talking with my little sister the other day, and she said something that really made me laugh, but started to look at life a little bit differently. We were talking about working at Publix because, I think that's a company, that takes care of their workers, give them share in stocks and things like that, maybe. Not sure. Fact check me. But anyway, she was basically comparing that to doing a mission. And the mission she was talking about was like riding around, like doing Uber Eats, like uh, DoorDash, rideshare, right? And I laughed my ass off, like literally out loud. And I looked at her and I was like, girl, life is not GTA. And I was like, wow, do all Gen Z think like this? Because they were raised in a time where, I mean, like, GTA is a reference. It's not actually reality, but it made me start, to think. Then I had to pause because the way she said it, she wasn't complaining. She wasn't dreading, she was just playing the game, and I realized, what if she's not wrong, you know? Because think about it. What if we started treating life more like missions, our errands, our day to day to do list more like missions? In a game, you never start where you're trying to end, right? So you don't load in with everything figured out. You don't spawn with max level, unlimited money, perfect stats, unless you're cheating, Back in my early San Andreas days, I will not lie. Me and my older sister, we would do that L1, right one, L2, left two, left down, right up, left. Like we knew our cheats. We were born in the time of the internet, so we knew where to find it. But yeah, you don't start with those perfect stats unless you're using those cheat codes, but you start with nothing. You're confused and you figure it out as you go. And somehow that's part of the fun, right? Because it's a game. However, on the contrary, in real life, we hate that part. We think something's wrong when we're not where we want to be at. We think somehow we're behind, like we're failing, when really we're just at the beginning of the mission. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately, like while I'm driving, because when life feels heavy, when everything feels like it's going wrong, that's usually, the exact moment in a game where you're about to level up. But you don't see it like that in real life. You see it as, stress, as pressure, as why is this happening to me? Like, ugh, instead of what is this trying to build in me? And I'm not saying life is a joke, because it's definitely not. Some of these levels feel like they're dragging you through something you didn't ask for. Some of these moments feel like if I don't get out of this, it's gonna break me. But even in games, those are the levels that you remember. Those are the ones that almost made you quit. The ones where you had to stop, rethink, come back different. And there's been plenty of times where, you haven't beat the boss, but that doesn't stop you from playing the game. You might take a break, but you come back ready to beat that boss again, right? And I started to notice something about myself. When I actually treat my life like a game, I move different. Even with work. Like checking things off, hitting certain numbers, completing what I said I was going to do. It feels like I'm stacking something, not just getting through the day, And that's actually, progressing for me. It's progress, because in a game, the objective is always clear. Even if it's a hard objective, you know what you're working towards. Real life feels confusing because nobody hands you the objective. You have to decide which routes you want to take. And that's where people get stuck. Sometimes there's too many decisions, too many choices, too many routes thrown our way. But what if you looked at your life like, this is just a mission? This hard moment, this is just a level. This setback, it's just a side quest. That random opportunity you almost ignored, probably an Easter egg, The part that nobody really talks about, I think, is that what you do between the levels. What are we doing in between these levels when everything slows down? when life isn't chaotic, but it's also not too exciting. Those quiet moments, that's where healing is supposed to happen. Because if you don't take the time to actually process what you've been through, those same feelings, the same weight, that same version of you will follow you into the next level. And now you're in a better situation, but you don't feel better because you brought everything with you. So it's like, yeah, level up, but also heal before you level up. Or you'll keep replaying the same stage just with different scenery. And I don't know. Maybe my sister didn't even realize what she was saying, but it stuck with me because she wasn't looking at life like something's happening to her. She was engaging with it. And I think that's the difference. Some people are just living and some people are playing. And the ones who are playing, they're still going through things. They still have their struggles. They're still figuring it out too, but they're moving with intention. They're learning from it. They're stacking something. And maybe that's all this really is. Not, why is my life like this, but how do I play this game better? And maybe that question alone can change how we move, because when we start asking ourselves that, we stop taking everything so damn personally. Not in a way where we don't care about things, but in a way where we start to understand that this is a part of it. This is a part of that process. Like in a game, you don't sit there and get mad at the level. I mean, yeah, you might get frustrated, but you figure it out. You adjust and you try it again. You learn what works and you learn what doesn't. And eventually you get through it. But in real life, we sit in it. We overthink, we replay it, we start making it mean something about us. Like, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this just isn't me. When really, you just haven't figured it out. You just haven't figured out this level yet. And I think that's the shift. Not pretending everything is okay. Not ignoring how you feel, but also not letting that moment convince you that this is where your story ends. Because it's not. And whatever this is for you right now, you're going to get through it too. And if you made it this far and you've been listening this whole time, you're not just listening. You're a grateful heart. And that alone changes everything. So yeah, that's my thought for the day. I love you. I'll sit with you in the next one. Peace.